Manipulators seek control by fracturing your reality. They induce cognitive dissonance, forcing your mind into a painful conflict between what you know is true and what they demand you believe. This mental stress is their key weapon. But the ancient Stoics, masters of the inner fortress, offer a surgical countermeasure, Epictetus's profound doctrine, the two handles. This framework grants you immediate agency over induced pain. Epictetus taught that everything we encounter has two handles, one we can grasp successfully and justly, and one that is too hot, too heavy, or fundamentally wrong to hold. We will dissect how dark psychology forces you to choose the weak handle, blame, emotional reaction, and victimhood, and how Stoic self-mastery gives you the strength to choose the handle of objective reality. Induced cognitive dissonance occurs when an external agent introduces a contradiction so severe that your brain attempts to resolve the internal conflict by adopting their false, destabilizing narrative. The manipulator aims to destabilize you emotionally. By creating guilt about past actions or forcing illogical compliance, they erode your baseline sense of right and wrong, securing control. Consider gaslighting. It's the intentional contradiction of your memory, forcing dissonance between your perception and the presented facts. This pushes you toward adopting the manipulator's distorted version of events. The sheer mental pain of dissonance compels fast resolution. We often choose the path of least resistance, accepting the false narrative rather than facing the uncomfortable conflict head-on with rational truth. Epictetus stated, "Everything has two handles, one by which it may be borne, and one by which it may not." This is not about simple choice, but about strategic, rational perception of reality. The external thing itself, an action, an insult, a manipulation tactic, is morally neutral. It is the handle we choose to grasp that determines whether we suffer or achieve liberation. This concept is intrinsically linked to the Stoic dichotomy of control. The two handles represent the controllable, your judgment, and the uncontrollable, the external event initiated by others. The first handle, the weak handle, is the emotional, reactive grip. It focuses on external blame, inherent injustice, and the desire for things outside your power to instantly be different. When faced with ICD, the weak handle is to immediately blame the manipulator, or worse, internalize the blame they project onto you. This yields power and control instantly. Grasping the weak handle means fixating on the injustice of the situation. This emotional vortex drowns out reason and confirms the manipulator's assessment of your emotional reactivity and vulnerability. This weak handle is too heavy because it requires lifting not just the event, but also the impossible weight of fixing the past, controlling others' malice, and demanding a fair, just universe. The weak handle transforms you into a victim, defined by the external wound. This validates the dissonance they induced and locks you into accepting their harmful narrative as your reality. The second handle, the strong handle, is the handle of objective assessment and rational virtue. It asks, what is this, factually? And how do I respond with integrity? The strong handle requires radically removing your value judgments from the event itself. An insult is merely words, the dissonance is merely data indicating a manipulation attempt occurred. Epictetus advises us to describe the event using the least emotionally charged language possible. This immediately mitigates the cognitive dissonance's painful emotional charge. By gripping the strong handle, we shift focus from, "Why did this happen to me?" to, "What is the courageous, just, and disciplined response available to me right now?" If a manipulator attempts to induce dissonance by insulting your competence, the weak handle is anger. The strong handle is noting, a person expressed their subjective opinion. Nothing more. This strong handle is bearable because you are only responsible for your own response and inner integrity, not for the intent, the malice, or the outcome of the manipulator's external action. When dissonance hits, pause. Identify the specific, internal contradiction the manipulator is attempting to enforce. Locate the exact clash between your established truth and their tactical lie. Define the two handles clearly. Handle 1, reacting emotionally, seeking external validation. Handle 2, assessing facts, asserting internal control and ethical responsibility. Test the weight of each grip. Ask yourself, which choice requires me to surrender my control? Which requires me to lift the weight of things that are fundamentally not mine to bear? That is the weak handle. Consciously shift your inner monologue away from the injury and toward rational utility. What is the most functional, factual, and productive way to move forward given the actual facts? If a colleague induces dissonance regarding your project timeline, the weak handle is panic. The strong handle is listing factual progress and calmly recommunicating boundaries based on reality. By refusing the emotional handle, you apply Stoic indifference, adiaphora, to the manipulator's intent. Their malice becomes irrelevant noise, stripped of its psychological power to harm you. Dark psychology relies on you choosing the heavy handle, the one rooted in self-doubt and emotional pain. Your instant, unexamined reaction provides the feedback loop they need to calibrate their subsequent tactics. Choosing the strong handle aligns with the Stoic virtue of justice. It is just to yourself to deal only with the objective facts and refuse to participate in an emotionally dishonest exchange. Temperance, or moderation, dictates that we restrain the impulsive, immediate need to correct or fight the induced dissonance. Wait for emotional clarity before taking any definitive, reactive action. When someone attempts to hook you with a personal attack, immediately see the event factually. Words were spoken. Assess, does this specific external event require my anger or emotional surrender? The weak handle is heavy because it is defined by the absolute need for external validation or apology, something entirely outside your realm of control. The strong handle requires only internal certainty. Epictetus taught that if someone succeeds in angering you, you realize your mind has not been sufficiently trained. The insult itself carries no intrinsic weight, only your emotional response does. The strong handle resolves cognitive dissonance not by accepting the lie, but by asserting a rational action that directly contradicts the lie, grounding you back firmly in verifiable reality. Manipulators want you focused exclusively on the external scoreboard they dictate. The strong handle forces you to return to your internal scoreboard of virtue, character, and self-respect. Blame is the psychological anchor of the weak handle. Blaming others means outsourcing your emotional state, blaming yourself means accepting their distorted, manufactured narrative as truth. By gripping the strong handle of radical objectivity, the induced dissonance cannot take root in your mind. It is exposed instantly as a mere rhetorical attempt to distract you from the facts. Sometimes, choosing the strong handle means radical, disciplined silence. Refusing to engage with the dissonance they create starves the manipulator of the emotional reaction they crave entirely. The two handles are not just reactive, they are profoundly proactive. By consistently training yourself to observe events without immediate passion, you build deep immunity to future psychological manipulation attempts. Holding the strong handle requires constant, strenuous discipline, especially under high stress. This discipline, derived from reason, is the very definition of Stoic freedom from emotional tyranny. Mastery of the two handles builds profound psychological resilience. Each time you choose the rational grip, you strengthen your character, making future manipulation significantly less effective against you. The handles are always present, waiting for your choice. Your life's integrity depends entirely on which one you reach for when the world, or a cruel person, presents you with a painful contradiction. Use the two handles to immediately reclaim your mental territory. Focus only on what is controllable, your judgments, your character, and your virtuous response to every external event. Remember, the control they seek resides only in the handle you choose. Choose the weak handle, and you become their tool. Choose the strong, rational handle, and you achieve unbreakable inner sovereignty.